The Tower of Babylon, Story and Lessons in the Book of Genesis. After the Great Flood, mankind entered a new chapter in history. God blessed Noah's family and his descendants, multiplying and spreading across the earth. As the population increased, people lived in harmony with each other and used a single language. This made it easy for them to communicate, work together, and achieve remarkable achievements. While moving east, a group of people found a vast plain in the land of Shinar, today in Iraq. This was a fertile land, favorable for settlement and development. Realizing the potential of this place, they decided to stop and build a city as their center. Dreaming of reaching the sky, during the process of building the city, people began to have greater ambitions. They wanted to create a great work, a symbol of unity, strength, and progress of mankind. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them well. Let us build a city and a high tower so that our names will be known and we will not be scattered abroad." In this saying, their true intentions can be seen clearly. Wanting to assert themselves. They wanted their reputation to resound, to be known as great people. Wanting to oppose God's will, God had commanded Noah's descendants to spread out and fill the earth, Genesis 9:1. But they wanted to stay in one place, contrary to his will. Wanting to reach heaven by human strength. They wanted to build a tower that reached as high as the sky, as if they could reach God's level. With this determination, they began to work enthusiastically. They made bricks instead of stones and used asphalt as a binder. They not only wanted to build a city, but also wanted to challenge God's sovereignty. God's intervention from heaven, God observed the people and saw the arrogance in their hearts. He understood that if people continued to pursue this ambition, they would move further and further away from him, believing that they could control themselves and did not need God's guidance. He said, "They are one people, speaking the same language, and this is only the beginning of their ambition. Confuse their language so that they will no longer understand each other." Immediately, God confused the language of the people. People who could understand each other easily suddenly could not communicate. One person said one thing, the other heard another. The construction project quickly fell into chaos. The builders could not understand the architect. The material transporters could not understand the commander. The work gradually stopped, and they could no longer continue to build the city or the tower. Unity disappeared, replaced by chaos and conflict. The dispersion of mankind. Unable to communicate with each other, people were forced to split into small groups according to their new language. They left the project unfinished, each group going in a different direction, scattered across the face of the earth as God had intended. The city was abandoned, the tower was still unfinished. The place was called Babylon, which means chaos, because there God confused the language of mankind. The meaning and lesson of the story. The story of the Tower of Babylon teaches many important lessons about faith, obedience, and human limitations. Pride leads to failure. The tower builder did not seek God, but only to glorify himself. This reflects the arrogance of man in thinking that he could achieve anything without God. But in the end, it was this arrogance that led to chaos and failure. Nothing is beyond God's control humans can plan, but God has the final say. Although they tried to resist his will, they were still scattered, as he had originally said. Language and the division of mankind. The story explains why there are so many different languages in the world. The chaos of languages caused people to be scattered, but it also helped them to grow and live in different lands. Seek God. Instead of personal glory, humans put their trust in themselves instead of God. Instead of building a physical tower to get close to God, we need to build a relationship with Him through faith and obedience. 6. Conclusion. The story of the Tower of Babylon is not only a historical story in the Bible, but also a strong warning for all of us. It reminds us that all glory belongs to God, and any attempt to challenge His power will only lead to chaos and failure. Instead of trying to build a Tower of Babylon in our own lives, that is, pursuing fame, power, or believing in our own strength, we should turn our hearts to God, seek Him, and put our trust in Him. Thank you for listening. God be with you. Amen.